Hey guys, welcome to the Comic Wall. I'm the Outcast Angel, and today we are discussing issue 11 of Redneck by Donny, Lisandro, Estherren, and Dee Cunniffe. I hope I'm saying your names right. First off, this cover is gorgeous. It is intense as hell, and I've been loving the covers so far. I mean, ever since issue 1, the covers have been pretty intense, you know. And I believe the last 4 covers, including this one, were by Pitarra. Yeah, but yeah, it's just so intense, and they're not completely misleading as most Image and Skybound covers are. But you know, it's I love it. Based on what happened last time, we got to see that Evil is still alive, and he's kicking major ass. We also got to hear some backstory on Phil as he's being held by the FBI, and we got to see his backstory, and that the reason why the Landrys are against the Bowmans is because, first off, the Landrys took land away from Phil, very unfairly as it is, and while Phil was trying to figure out what was going on, he found Slap. If you remember him, he was the young vampire from issue 1, who sadly died, and he took him home to the Bowmans and saved him basically. And so, you know, he I guess was owed a favor, and so the one favor he asked was to get payback from the Landrys, in which they ended up burning down, I believe it was their bank, or it was something, it was or their business building. They burned it down, and yeah, so the thing is that Phil and Meredith, the mother of Perry and of Slap, I believe, and the wife of I forget his name, JV. She and Phil went to go burn down the building, but the Landrys and their gaggle of goons, I guess, you know, they got caught up to them, and sadly, that was the way Meredith died. They burned her to death. Phil got away, and yeah, he reported it back to the Bowmans, and I'm sure that's why the Bowmans and the Landrys are at odds with each other. Anyway, so we also got to see a little bit of Evil's backstory. He was some military spook in the I guess a few years way well before he's working with the Bowmans. And he's a badass, basically. I mean, obviously, any person with a nickname or name Evil is, it has to be a badass. So Evil makes it back to the Bowman safe house where one of the Landrys, I forgot his name, well, Father Landry, basically, he's taken over, and he's taken the Bowmans hostage. JV is dead at this point, and Bartlett, I forget the other 2 names. I'll probably see them right now. Seamus and Greg. Evil finds Seamus and Greg and manages to free them and gets out of there. If you guys remember, Evil did the little drew a little cross in Sharpie on one of the New Blood vampires, and he caught fire. It was amazing. Anyway, so that leads us up to this. The police and the FBI have caught up to the rest of them at the safe house, and yeah, it's not so safe anymore. So back into this issue, we see Bartlett still tied up in the basement, and all of a sudden Perry is in front of him. She's free. One of the things that I like in this series is that there's always a little narrative going on, or I guess a narrative, and it's more Bartlett's thoughts as he's going through all this, and so yeah, he's kind of just contemplating everything, trying to figure out what to do or how he's gonna get out of this, and yeah, Perry's free, and she's okay. She's just fine now. If you guys remember last time as well, Evil did this weird thing where he gave her some of his blood and was able to kind of speak through her. It was crazy as heck, and I can't wait to see more of that. So yeah, Perry breaks Bartlett free. They manage to escape, run out into the woods. dodging helicopters and everything. And it's here that we get to hear of Perry's origins, that she isn't necessarily Meredith's daughter, or I guess related in blood in a sense to the Bartletts, to the Bowmans. I keep wanting to say Bartletts or Bowmans, so bear with me. So yeah, Perry knows that she's not exactly normal, and she got a glimpse inside Landry's head, showing her that she's different, or in a sense. She says, about what I saw inside Landry's head, I saw there was, will you please tell me what I am? And so Bartlett kind of, gives in and tells her. The night they buried Meredith, Grandpa Bowman, who has his legs and is very much stronger than he was when we last saw him. Turns out he went to go to pay the Landrys a visit. I'm not sure who these guys are, or what their names are exactly, but he goes to their house, and this is where it gets freaky, that he manages to break in and enter. One of the rules about the vampires is that they can't enter a building without being invited, and of course Grandpa is something else, because he manages to go in, and Bartlett says it hurts like nothing you can imagine, the most hurt I've ever felt. And I can only imagine how bad it's hurting Gramps over here. Here we find out that Mr. Landry, I guess I'm just going to call him that, Mr. Landry is being choked by him, and Gramps is saying that he's going to take from them what they took from him. And here we find out that he wants to take the child. Mrs. Landry is actually pregnant, very pregnant, and her name is Perry Ann. So here we find that Perry is a Landry, and that just changes everything, because they have a whole blood feud between the Bowmans and the Landrys, and so it's intense trying to comprehend that. Anyway, so the Landrys are killed, and Perry is obviously not very happy about it, and she kind of charges away from Bartlett, saying, "I'm a Landry, and you raised me to hate my own blood. Forgive you? No." And then we see Bartlett was never freed at all. It was all in his head, because Perry was crossing some wires in there. And we find out that Father Landry was actually behind it all, and probably the reason why she got free in the first place. So now Perry is geared up, fired up, ready to fight. She goes out to confront the teams of FBI and cops that are out, and unleashes total hell. She gets inside everyone's heads, hurting them, possibly, just hurting them pretty badly. They're in a lot of pain, and bringing down their helicopters as it is, and it's something out of a Michael Bay movie, and I'm gonna knock over my table. I'm a little excited here. So Evil manages to run off again, and guess who we get to see? JV is still alive, and I knew he would still be alive. I mean, he seems like the type of strong and just well put together vampire that can't really be killed as easily as a stake through the heart. And I'm sure Bartlett, when he and Landry were talking before, when they thought they were on the same side now, I'm sure Bartlett left some stuff out about their rules, because I'm sure, even though Landry is now a vampire, I'm sure Bartlett didn't trust him as well. I wouldn't trust him that easily. And so, maybe we'll see. I'm excited to see what happens, why he's still alive, because, you think he'd be dead after a stake to the heart, but maybe he missed. I mean, you never know. Maybe Landry isn't as strong with his vampire stabbing hand than he is with the Word of God. Also in this issue, I managed to get a letter printed again. I've actually only gotten like 2 letters in Redneck, and like I said, I love it because I can, I can ask questions and I can get, some information from the writers themselves, and that's what I really appreciate about Skybound is that they really get one-on-one with their fans, and yeah, it's pretty. I guess I appreciate it. In other words, so with what I had to say, I said, "Hello, Redneck team. You had me worried this issue. I thought things were going to get so much worse." And to counter that comment, evil is still alive. Yeah, we found that out. Did we find that out last issue? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it was issue 9. I'm not too sure, to be honest. Anyway, so then, if you spell evil backwards, it spells live. I see what y'all did there. I was being a total dork, so bear with me. So yeah, the covers for these next couple issues and these last ones have been fantastic. Can't wait to see more. As I told you, I love the covers. See you next month, blah, blah, blah. And then John Moisen, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, the editor for this series, he says, "You know what they say, Andy, evil never dies, except maybe in this book. He will, maybe. Or maybe he'll outlive everyone and this book will just star him one day." That'd be pretty crazy though, right? I mean, that would be cool, but at the same time then, what about vampires, He's not exactly a redneck. Anyway, Donny Cates replies with, "Oh, just you wait. There are big, big, scary plans for evil. He's the baddest dude who ever lived, after all. And just you wait until he..." And of course, he's not going to give us that many answers. I've tried so hard to get to try and get some answers out of these guys, and they're hard to budge. Anyway. John is telling me we're out of time. Damn, I wanted to tell you guys about the wild shit that goes on down next issue. Oh well, tune in next time for the final of The Eyes Upon You. And, the finale, I'm sorry. Anyway, I think that's pretty cool because The Eyes Upon You, I guess, is the story arc for this next 6 issues. And it's getting intense. So, I'm sure the next issue is going to be just as explosive as this one was. And I'm wondering what's going to happen with Perry. Is she going to stick with the Landrys or is she going to stay with the Bowmans? Because, the Bowmans raised her. I mean, it wasn't necessarily all their fault. I mean, it was all Grandpa's fault. I mean, can't really keep an old vampire down. But, we'll see what happens. And so, yeah, that does it for this episode. Thank you for watching. If you have any thoughts about it, drop them down in the comments. And, do me a favor. Like this video. Show the love. Subscribe to my channel to get more of my videos. And ring the bell to get notifications of when I post new videos. I'm going to have a few coming up soon. So, keep an eye out. And, yeah, I can't wait to hear what y'all think. And thank you for watching.